You niggas be gay. I knew I would never be gay. I'ma pull up, bustin' on face. She wanna come fuck with the gang. My pop said I'm on one. Didn't know that I had pain. Pulling out on that slave. I don't know her, but I got the. I don't know her, but I'm in her brain. I can be seen here. They'll be neat, yeah. I pull up, I'm pulling on. They know I been here. Bang, bang. It's some shit you know ain't mean it. Whoa. You know I don't love. I put the seat on the lie. 50 on me and it's big. See, touching the kidney. I get the sticky dick up in the Instagram. When I pull up in that foreign Mercedes, I know they see me. That legendary big meaning. I done came along. Sacred Society. Spin. Hey, fuck nigga, spin. Big ass Balenciaga run on my drill. Count out the money and drop out 10. AR bullets that came out the FN. My niggas call it a fin-fin. Big ass Beamer truck, now step in it. M-Series, that's what I'm sitting in. She pull up on me, that hand came off. I don't even know what I'm getting in. I just pulled up in an SRT, it's the Challenger, so you ain't fitting in. Drake whoop them like a Fendi belt. Fake ass drugs, his kidneys melt. Spin on him and get him dealt with. Head turn to a patty melt. I started to think I be loving myself. She asking why I got a gun on myself. I just took a trip to Neiman's and Cup and keep blowing money. That little nigga something else. Spin. Hey, fuck nigga, spin. Big ass Balenciaga run on my drill. Count out the money and drop out 10. AR bullets that came out the FN. My niggas call it a fin-fin. Big ass Beamer truck, now step in it. M-Series, that's what I'm sitting in. She pull up on me, that hand came off. I don't even know what I'm getting in. I just pulled up in an SRT, it's the Challenger, so you ain't fitting in. Drake whoop them like a Fendi belt. Fake ass drugs, his kidneys melt. Spin on him and get him dealt with. Head turn to a patty melt. He just show them boys is out. They don't even play that shit. They say Jason Coward. I don't even play that shit. Lil' bro up the sound. Told him to flame that shit. Buy his bitch a necklace. He don't even wear that shit. You can buy that bitch. Nobody. I don't even date that bitch. This bitch 10 out of 10. We 10 out of 10. That's how I'ma rate that bitch. My niggas get shit done. Put gun to his head. Rate that bitch. I don't know nobody that's getting paid like that. Spell no fresh like full fresh. He just show them boys is out. They don't even play that shit. They say Jason Coward. I don't even play that shit. Lil' bro up the sound. Told him to flame that shit. Buy his bitch a necklace. He don't even wear that shit. You can buy that bitch. Nobody. I don't even date that bitch. This bitch 10 out of 10. We 10 out of 10. That's how I'ma rate that bitch. Strategy, master challenger. Say all of me, I'm a challenger. I'm gonna curse the game, Frank Ballinger. Double drum on on same Frank Sinatra. Rockstar, pop star, I'm on. I done gave this bitch a hand, should've bit the arm. This little bitch like Eve, give a fuck if it's apple or orange. Luciano, I got too many roles on these niggas. I got too many hoes in these niggas. Shoppers I be on my side, it's gon' rip with them niggas. Rip with them niggas. Get out of niggas. Don't worry, bitch. I see you dissing. Mike and Mary, I'ma mix it with Burberry. I need a tooth fairy, nigga. Too much money, shit ain't even fair, nigga. Getting bad shit, getting wary. I got niggas in the cemetery. Too high, you can't find me, talk your parents. Too high, you can't find me, talk your water. Too high, you can't find me, talk your water. Water. Straight AG, master challenger. Stay on to me, I'ma challenge him. I'm gonna coach the game, Frank Ballinger. Double drum on same Frank Sinatra. Rockstar, pop star, I'm on. I done gave this bitch a hand, should've bit the arm. This little bitch like Eve, give a fuck if it's apple or orange. Luciano, I got too many roles on these niggas. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. Let's go to the moon. Money on me, I know. Let's go to the moon. Baby, I'll see you soon. Let's go to the moon. Why you got me wrong? I'm in an SRT, little baby. I gotta make me a mom. Let's go to the moon. Why you got me wrong? I'm in an SRT, little baby. I gotta make me a mom. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. Let's go to the moon. Money on me, I know. Let's go to the moon. Baby, I'll see you soon. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. Let's go to the moon. Money on me, I know. Let's go to the moon. Baby, I'll see you soon. Let's go to the moon. Why you got me wrong? I'm in an SRT, little baby. I gotta make me a mom. Let's go to the moon. Why you got me wrong? I'm in an SRT, little baby. I gotta make me a mom. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. She wanna go. Let's go to the moon. Money on me, I know. Let's go to the moon. Baby, I'll see you soon.
It's getting late.
Yo, yo, yo. We got in the building, man. We live, bro. We live. What's good, Miss Tammy in the building? Just saying, how y'all doing? We back again today with part 2. Y'all gonna check it out. Yeah, we back again with another one. You know, I was thinking, like, I'm gonna probably just turn this into like a series. Like, while we do other reactions and stuff like that. But I also want to be able to focus on other topics. Even though these topics be absurd, just listening to them, like, like, you just hear the absurdity, but at the same time, it's interesting. So that's what we're doing. But y'all pull up, man. Y'all come on in, man. Might as well go ahead and start, but just let folks follow in, bro. But how y'all doing today, man? Make sure the music ain't too loud with the video.
Along the silvery cord, allowing you to re-enter your body as you enter the new plane. A little confusing, but we'll get there. Your astral form is a separate incarnation from your real form. Any damage or other effects that apply to it have no effect on your physical.
Let me take it back up a little bit, just a little
bit. Body as you enter the new plane. A little confusing, but we'll get there. Your astral form is a separate incarnation from your real form. Any damage or other effects that apply to it have no effect on your physical body, nor do they persist when you return to it. The spell ends for you and your companions when you use your action to dismiss it. When the spell ends, the affected creature returns to its physical body and it awakens. The spell might also end early for you or one of your companions. A successful dispel magic spell used against an astral or physical body ends the spell for that creature. If the creature's original body or its astral form drops to 0 hit points, the spell ends for that creature. If the spell ends and the silver cord is intact, the cord pulls the creature's astral form back to its body, ending its state of suspended animation. If you return to your body prematurely, your companions remain in their astral forms and must find their own way back to their bodies, usually by dropping to 0 hit points. It's a very confusing spell. In fact, it's one of the most complicated spells that exist within Dungeons & Dragons. But this is what we would consider an archetypal spell in Dungeons & Dragons.
Also, if you're feeling generous coming in the chat, hit that cash out, you feel me? All support is greatly appreciated. I thank all of you who donate to the cash out, everybody that hit the like button, you feel me? Y'all the reason we buzzing, bro. Y'all the reason. So I appreciate you.
Which has been in the game literally since first edition. However, I see that many people have shared doubts as to what truly is its purpose. I mean, why would you or really any group of adventurers go so far as to wait until 17th level in order to cast this spell? And I mean, really, why would you? Plane Shift is a 7th level spell that, as long as you have the right tuned fork, you can simply teleport to any plane of existence within the multiverse. You merely need to specify that you want to, for example, go to the city of glass in the elemental plane of water, and off you go. And since it is a 7th level spell, it is considerably easier to obtain than astral projection, and you can get this as early as 13th level. Then there's Gate, which is a much more powerful spell, being a 9th level spell, but that allows you to do the same thing as Plane Shift.
Okay, so to make all of this make sense for anybody coming in the building that don't know what's going on, this video is about 9th level spells. I guess it's just supposed to be people using shit that would otherwise like not be for them, like, you know, more unattainable feats for humans and shit. So he's basically just going over some of the top tier shits we can use in the world of D&D, not in real life. Okay.
But without the need to use the attuned fork. It is also much more potent because it not just teleports you and your friends, but it actually opens up a portal that lasts for a whole minute that anyone can use to follow you through. So you could presumably even teleport a whole crew with you or a small battalion of followers, maybe a small army. Further, you can be extremely specific with this spell and even name a creature and basically open up a portal right beside that creature that you're looking for, or maybe pull that creature up to you. So having these extremely powerful spells at your discretion, Plane Shift and Gate, why in the nine hells would you ever cast Astral Projection, knowing full well that Astral Projection will not directly take you where you want to go, and instead will basically force you to go through the astral plane before finding the right color pool that will then lead you to your actual destination? Well, see, the answer is protection, but way more protection than you actually think you're getting. The outer planes and inner planes are really scary places for mortal folk, and the reality is that you'd be a fool to travel to them without being fully prepared. So this is the thing. When you cast Astral Projection, you create an astral self that gets sent right into the astral. This astral self is a representation of you that really is just a translation of your being into the realm of thought. This astral self is formed with a silvery cord that comes out of your back and basically connects your astral self with your real physical self, which is still in the material world.
Again, the artwork, bro. I mentioned this yesterday. Look at the artwork. Look at the illustrations, bro. It helps you get a grasp of like what type of shit we talking about right here. You know what I'm saying? The astral would literally be like, it's like your subconscious and everything just floating around, you know what I'm saying, in a spectrum where other, I guess, consciousnesses and other, volumes are gathered. It's a crazy thing to think about, bro.
In a catatonic state. If you get hurt in your astral form, your body does not get hurt. And if you die in your astral self, the silver cord will simply yank your spiritual self back into your real body. Now, generally speaking, you should be safe. Once your spiritual self comes back, you might fall into a long rest and then wake up drowsy and weakened, but that's basically typically it. And sometimes, rarely, though, you can fall into a coma, and other times you might actually die, but look, generally speaking, it is safe. What many people don't know is that this protection from death actually continues even if you move your astral self towards an outer or inner plane. So, for example, if you move astrally through the astral plane, you find a color pool that leads you towards the inner plane of fire. What actually happens is the inner plane of fire will then create a body for you based on your spiritual representation. This body will still have a silver cord coming out of it. This is not your real body. Your real body is still in the prime material realm. Again, what happens is the plane of fire in this case will literally create a physical representation of your fake astral body for your spirit to use. Now, what's interesting is that because this new body was created by the plane itself, you actually become a native of that plane for as long as you use that body. So for our example here, you will be considered a native to the elemental plane of fire. This means
that is insane. Do y'all know how crazy? Bro, that's crazy, bro. So, and they got different planes. You got the plane of air, plane of earth, plane of water. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you do that, you be seen as an entity native to that lane. That is crazy.
Is that you would become completely immune to fire, and you would be able to basically breathe in the fire in the plane as air. This property applies to every single plane. So if you enter into the plane of Earth astrally, then the body that you're given by the plane will be able to freely move through the Earth and even see through the Earth. Any properties that an elemental might get from being on the plane, you basically get. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you kind of become an elemental. This is the true power of astral projection. Important because nobody in their right mind would teleport themselves into the abyss with their true bodies. I mean, that's actually insane. But with this, you can fight any demon lord you desire without having an actual fear of permanent death, or perhaps worse, of succumbing.
What's good, Cutting Edge in the building? What's good with you, bro? Respect. What's going on with you, man?
To the madness of the plane. Now, of course, the caveat is that with astral projection, you do have to project yourself into the astral plane first, and then literally float your way into a color pool, pass through it, teleport into the first layer of a plane, and then physically walk the plane until you get to where you want to go. For example, in the case of the Abyss, using astral projection, you basically would be forced to appear on the first layer and then have...
Yeah, y'all smash that like button coming in, man. We struggle screaming right now. We struggle streaming right now, man. I don't know where everybody is, bro. Sound the alarm, bro. Put the freaking bat signal in the air, bro, to get everybody in here, bro. Oh shit.
To physically travel each and every layer after layer after layer to get to the point where you want to go. Whereas with a portal spell, you can teleport exactly where you want to be. But hey, man, nothing avoids beating permadeath. Now, there are actually also other restrictions at play here that the 5th edition Player's Handbook did not tell you. Some really interesting ones, actually, which we will talk about in just a second. But first, I do want to point out that, just to be clear, that you don't have to astrally project yourself in order to get to the astral. I know that this is a question many of you have. You can enter the plane physically, like, for example, with a gate or a plane shift spell, or you can do it by astrally projecting yourself. On one scenario, scenario, you are physically in the plane and all the properties that we talked about in the last 3 videos would apply to you. Or you can astrally project through the astral projection spell, which would then bring upon you an interesting set of disadvantages and advantages. The first thing that you need to know, and this is super important and actually wild that the player's handbook did not mention this, but basically you're creating an astral translation of yourself, which means you don't actually get to bring everything that you have with you into your astral journey. When you project yourself astrally, you only get to bring magical items with you. Because the astral plane is a plane of magic, you can create translations of things of magic, as magic imprints itself on the plane of thoughts. But mundane things without magic do not create echoes in here, which means they cannot be translated. Now, the magic on the item does not need to be powerful or even useful for that matter. As long as it has any kind of enchantment or magic cast upon it, it should work. Literally, all you have to do sometimes is to cast the light cantrip on your sword, and then you could bring it with you. Like, it's that simple. Or perhaps a small prestidigitation on your clothes to make them smell like flowers. That would also work. It doesn't require much at all. But if you don't, then you would basically appear literally naked on the astral if you're only wearing mundane things. If you don't enchant your underwear with something, then yeah, it's not going to be a modest trip for you, basically. Now, once you do, the items will translate themselves perfectly within the astral plane and do exactly what they would do on the physical plane. If your sword does slashing damage in the real world, the realm of thought would replicate that exactly for you. In an interesting vein, you can also pick up items in your astral form and then bring them back with you, back into your real physical form. And those items would appear then as actual real items. This applies for as long as you can physically carry the item in your astral self. So if you can carry, say, a big chest full of gold while astrally, when you do end the spell and come back to your physical form, then that big chest full of gold will also appear before you. Now, as you can tell, there are many, many benefits, but also a great many disadvantages to being astrally. For one, you actually have no idea what is happening to your real physical body while you're traveling. It's just how damage done to your astral body does not reflect to your real body. So it happens that damage...
Bruh, all of this seems like the risk is so high. Like, what's good, Micah? My nigga Micah in the bed, it was good with you, bruh. You'll be back just clogged out. And that man been working, man. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I'm tired now. I really think this heat, bro, be draining nigga energy, bro, for real, for real. What's good? Double Speaks in the building. What's good with you, bro? How you doing? How you doing, man? What's good? Everybody coming in, bro. How y'all day going, man? Hope it's going on. All right, man. You know, we chilling over here. Just watching some MrRHEXX lore videos, bro. These some really interesting concepts, bro, that I really want to bring to the channel. You know, just make it a little stample. Did I just say stample? Staple. So this is what happens when you keep researching the SBS sector. You end up fucking saying words wrong and shit. What's happening to me? Oh, snap, man.
Done to your real body is not felt by your astral self, which means you have no idea whether or not your real body is even in danger. And this is why many astral travelers always make sure to leave a guardian with their body to protect them. And the only way that you could ever tell that something has happened to your real body would be, well, when your real body dies, because it would show to you as your silver cord basically disappearing. But obviously by then, it would have already been too late, and then you would die in 1 minute. At this point,
bro, I will only do this. I will put my body in a secure space. You feel me? Like, why would you just, like, bro, why would you just lay your body out just in a random area while your spirit or whatever up subconscious is roaming around? Nah, bro. Anything can happen. A roach could crawl in your mouth and have babies or something. Anything can happen to you, bro. Fuck all that.
In time, there wouldn't be much that you could do other than to make peace with your death, knowing that you only have that 1 minute to live. Now, there is one thing that you can do that could actually save you. It's a little bit of a trick. And that would be to quickly find a color pool and go through it, because then you would basically appear on the plane that it leads you, and then that plane would create a planar body for you, and you would basically get to live. It is an interesting cheat on the way that magic works, as your spirit would then have a body to possess that you could basically use to live through. Though, of course, at that point, it makes sense that your silver cord would not come back since your actual real body is dead. So this would mean that if you then were to die in your astral planar body, you would die for real. But this does give you a way to live on. And you, of course, would not be able to go back to the astral. You would not be able to represent yourself in the astral without an astral silver cord, and you cannot get that because your body's dead, so you're stuck in the outer planes or inner planes, depending on where you go. Now, a few interesting things to happen when you do bring...
Damn, you just fucked forced into a whole another existence with no real claim to what you once were. That sounds like a nightmare chat, you know?
Other people with you, which is something that you can do with the astral projection spell, is that you basically can use your own power to project up to 8 additional creatures to go on the journey with you. Now, the thing is that the rules here are a bit weird. You see, the player's handbook, monster manual, and dungeon master's guide are meant to be setting agnostic. The spells you find in here are supposed to be generic versions of the spells that you could then use to apply to any setting, regardless of where you're playing. You know, Dungeons and Dragons doesn't know if you're playing the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk or Eberron or Ravenloft. They basically have to create these generic spells that could apply to any setting. There are a lot of assumptions that are made that assume that you're probably playing on certain settings, but generally they keep them as agnostic as possible. Now, we do have the de facto setting for planar travel in Dungeons and Dragons, which is Planescape. It basically was a setting created specifically to world build on the ethereal, astral, inner, and outer planes for the Dungeons and Dragons game. This was created in 2nd edition, and since then, the only books that we have gotten that talk about the planes are the Manual of the Planes books, which basically just parrot Planescape with perhaps some inconsequential small changes here and there. In essence, everything that we use for planar stuff has relied and has always relied on the Planescape setting. That's basically the gist of it. So anyways, according to Planescape rules, the way that it should work is when you bring along friends through the astral projection spell, there's actually only one main cord, and that is the cord of the spellcaster who casted the spell. The caster and his friends are all then connected through the main cord that connects their physical bodies. If this main cord is severed, then everybody dies. Now, from the body of the astral projecting mage, multiple cords would then come out that link to all of the other friends. If these individual cords would be severed, then only the individual it is linked to will die, and then everyone else would be safe. And this is an important distinction.
Nigga, I wouldn't even want to do this, bro. Take everything back. I wouldn't even want to do this. Absolutely not, bro. The risk factor is too high.
To make, because the only reason everyone is here is through the power of the mage who originally casted the spell, and they are essentially at the mercy of that wizard. That being said, the cords can stretch as far as you want. Remember that a distance doesn't really exist in this plane, so you can go as far as you want from your mage. Just know that you cannot actually go back to your real body unless your mage goes back with you. If your mage dies, then everyone gets yanked back with him. This is an important difference from the 5th and 3rd edition versions of the spell, which basically allow for each person to have their own cord. I just want to cover this a little bit because there is obviously, like I mentioned, a difference between what Planescape says it does and then what 3rd and 5th edition says it does. So you can take from this whatever you wish. In any case, the silver cord is...
Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button coming in, man. Appreciate you.
Visible for only a few feet coming out from your back. Then it disappears into the background. Now, even though you can see the cord on your back, you cannot actually interact with it in any way. It is, for all intents and purposes, intangible and not physical. And no attacks can be made to it, and it cannot be targeted by any spell or effect unless the spell specifically says it can. To this day, there are only about 4 ways known for something to be able to interact with your silver cord. One would be through the psychic winds, a phenomena that is found within the astral where lost thoughts combine together into a wave of thoughts that almost forms something like a storm. This we call, of course, psychic winds, which, if strong enough, can and will destroy your silver cord, killing you on the spot. 2 is through the fabled silver swords of the Githyanki, legendary weapons which have the ability to pierce and cut through silver cords, killing astrally projecting adventurers instantly. It is said that the conduits that connect the prime and the outer planes that pass through the astral can also be severed with these silver swords, lending credence to the legends that conduits and silver cords are actually very similar. The legends actually say that the first mage who invented the spell astral projection created it by studying the conduits, which is an interesting side note. 3, legendary monsters like the astral dreadnought are also known to have the ability to bite through the astral cord and break it. And lastly, 4, the...
Oh, hell no, nigga. Absolutely not. I will not, nigga. What? Astral what? Nah, you can have all that, man. The main black folk activity.
The power of gods can also destroy the silver cord, though rarely would it be the case that God would wield its power in the astral plane, generally considered to be a no man's land for gods who wish the place to remain a neutral ground. An astral self who has had its silver cord severed from its real body instantly perishes and can only be recovered through a wish spell. The permanent magic items held by the astral self will then float on the astral sea, while those items that had momentary enchantments casted by the mage will then lose their enchantments and then instantly rot away. Remember that even though time doesn't really pass on the astral, magical effects from spells still have a normal duration. It's only potions that can last permanently. The astral form with a silver cord severed would then simply dissolve into the plane in about a minute. The last really interesting disadvantage that actually many people don't think about when they project astrally is that their bodies are left without a spirit in them, something that a few monsters can actually take advantage of. There are a few monsters, especially those who make their lair in the astral, who make a habit of stealing bodies through possession in a similar way as a ghost might possess you. When a ghost possesses you, it is typically an imperfect effect since, well, the ghost is basically struggling with your own spirit for dominion over your body. This struggle typically makes it obvious that the body is being possessed.
Bruh. like I said, the risk factor is too high. It's like you opening yourself up for stuff to happen to you. Old girl is done, bro. Her eyes done turned milky white. Nigga, it's over with. Goodbye.
By something that should not be there. This does not happen when you leave your body without your spirit, of course. Certain creatures from the astral and even ghosts themselves can very much possess your empty body back at home and take them for themselves basically permanently, which completely screws you over. And many people don't know this, but for as long as something is possessing your real physical body, you would not be able to return to it from your astral self, leaving you permanently stranded in the outer planes. All right, guys, that's it. The 4 videos on the astral plane. 2 videos just explaining what the astral plane was. 1 video just talking about dead gods. And then, of course...
All right, we're going to go to the next one. We're going to go to the next one, chat. Make sure you tune in, man. You hit that like button for your boy. We're only 30 minutes in, man. We got a little ride, man. So you can make sure you tune in, hit that like button, man. Also, hit that cash app if you're feeling generous. I appreciate all your contributions to the channel. I'm trying to pull up my overlay.
We all have a friend who loves the McDonald's hot, crispy filet o fish. My friend, you could be...
No, I'm good, bro. Oh, no.
I apologize for not releasing a video in a while, guys.
Just a second, people. Just a second. Y'all bear with me for a second. Here we go. This one is titled Lycanthropy. So I guess he's gonna be going over like were creatures of D&D. This should give some perspective. Like I know some of y'all are into werewolves, vampires, and you know scary shit like that. You feel me? So this might interest you. So make sure you tune in, man. Hit that like button.
I apologize for not releasing a video in a while. Got COVID at the worst time, so that delayed everything. I'm also still a bit sick, so again, I apologize for my different voice. But anyhow, now the most basic definition of lycanthropy is a humanoid that can turn into an animal. Very, very simple. So technically speaking, a druid that can turn into a bird is a lycanthrope. A polymorphic wizard is also technically a lycanthrope. The term itself is in fact very misleading. In D&D specifically, and subsequently in the Forgotten Realms, a lycanthrope does have a more purposeful meaning, and that is a person that is afflicted by the lycanthropic curse. So these would be the werewolves, the werebears, the weretigers, and even stuff like weresharks. But the term lycanthrope is constructed of 2 words.
Wereshark is the craziest shit I ever heard, bro. First of all, nigga. Okay, bro, you already have sharks are dangerous with fins and everything in water as it is. Now you give a shark the ability to swim and he has legs and arms. Man, fuck all of that, bro.
Lycan, which comes from the word lykos, which means wolf, and thrope, which comes from the word anthropos, which means man. So the word technically should only refer to werewolves if you break down the foundation of the wording. Now the actual word that one should use is therianthrope, since therios means animal, but I suppose it doesn't quite have that nice ring to it. In any case, today we're talking about werebeasts, where they come from, what they do, how to cure them, anything and everything that the 5th edition Monster Manual did not tell you. But first, I am sponsoring my own video. I wanted to let you guys know that I have in fact created my very own lycanthrope class for 5th edition. See, the lycanthrope player option that exists on the monster manual, it's absolutely terrible. It's just broken and kind of unusable. There's a reason why DMs are not out there making players lycanthropes. In fact, it is so broken that the monster manual recommends that DMs literally take the character away from the player if they ever transform into a lycanthrope. So see, I have created a series called Monster Classes, where I create full classes from level 1 to level 20 based on monsters. And here I have the lycanthrope. And you can have this by clicking the button right here under the video. It'll take you to the shop where I have all of the...
He talking about tabletop stuff. I don't really necessarily be playing on like no tabletop shit. I'm more interested in the lore, guys, the literature, you know what I'm saying, the details, the storytelling. Hope I ain't skipped too far, bro.
Which of course helps you because the more you get hit, the more powerful you become. It's a really fun subclass. And then lastly, we have the Were-Rat. This guy is meant to be fast and agile, relying on its main feature, creatures. My favorite ability is the Bloodlust feature, where when a creature transforms into a lycanthrope. So see, I have created a series called Monster Classes, where I create full classes from level 1 to level 20 based on monsters. And here I have the lycanthrope. And you can have this by clicking the button right here under the video. It'll take you to the shop where I have all of the PDFs. The lycanthrope can enter into a visual transformation at level 1, where you gain a bunch of temporary hit points, and your transformation will last for as long as you have those hit points. See, transforming gives you access to your subclass features. Currently, we have the Werewolf, the Were-Rat, and the Were-Bear subclasses. The Werewolf can see when enemies have less than half HP. These creatures are considered wounded to you, and the Werewolf becomes a lot more powerful when fighting those wounded creatures. My favorite ability is the Bloodlust feature, where when a creature becomes wounded near you, you can spin a reaction to move towards it and then attack it. It's so cool to see the werewolves just like sipping sapping throughout the battlefield. The Were-Bear is fairly tanky. It gets more powerful the more times it gets hit, and also gets more powerful the more times it hits. Once you level up, you automatically give disadvantage on enemies that attack allies within 5 feet of you, making enemies basically attack you instead, which of course helps you because the more you get hit, the more powerful you become. It's a really fun subclass. And then lastly, we have the Were-Rat. This guy is meant to be fast and agile, relying on its main feature, Backstab, to deal damage. If the Were-Rat attacks with advantage, then it deals extra damage, and of course, it attacks poison creatures with advantage.
Oh, I know a few Were-Rats on this motherfucker, boy. Them goddamn rabbits, boy. It sound like y'all, bro. Like y'all really would be like that for real.
So as a Were-Rat, you're constantly trying to one-up enemies to get that backstab damage. But the coolest thing about the Were-Rat is that Were-Rats are diseased creatures. They're just filled with nasty viruses, and you can use...
Who that sound like, Jack? I'm just saying, who that sound like to y'all, bro? I believe that is food for thought right there.
Use those diseases against your enemies. You start the game with 3 diseases, and you get more as you level, and you can inflict your diseases on enemies. But the coolest part is that you can literally collect more diseases as you play through your adventures. So for example, if the adventure ever subjects you to a disease, and you're of course immune to it, but you can store it within your body permanently, and then you can use it against your enemies by spending your resources. I've been getting a lot of really good feedback on these monster classes, and I am so happy that you guys are enjoying them. I'm using the feedback to improve them, to add stuff that you guys want me to add, and to rebalance some of the stuff that you guys think is too strong. We will be updating these classes over time, and when we do, I'll be sending you guys all emails with the updated PDFs with all of the changes in there, so you don't have to worry about it. Thank you guys so much for the support. Please keep sending me your feedback on the comments below. Actually, please write me the stuff that you want to see in them, the stuff that you think is too strong. It'll help me out tremendously to make these classes the best that they can be. And of course, I'll be updating them as soon as I can and sending them your way. Click the link below and check them out. Thank you guys so much. We will talk further about the lycanthrope class at the end of the video, but for now, let's keep going with the video.
Jeez.
I despise the human race.
Did you say he's a human hero?
Nah.
Before we go deep, here's the 5th edition entry for the lycanthropes in the monster manual. Let's check it out. It says, in its natural humanoid form, a creature cursed by lycanthropy appears as its normal self. Over time, however, many lycanthropes acquire features suggestive of their animal form. In that animal form, a lycanthrope resembles a powerful version of a normal animal. In close inspection, its eyes show a faint spark of unnatural intelligence and might glow red in the dark. Okay, so a person that acquires the curse can transform into a powerful version of a normal animal. Pretty straightforward. And here it says that evil lycanthropes hide among normal folk, waiting until nightfall to spread terror and bloodshed, especially under the full moon. Good lycanthropes just become reclusive and live alone in the wilderness. The curse of lycanthropy. A humanoid creature can be afflicted with the curse of lycanthropy after being wounded by a lycanthrope, or if one or both of its parents are lycanthropes. A remove curse spell can rid an afflicted lycanthrope of the curse, but a naturally born lycanthrope can only be freed of the curse with a wish spell. Okay, so far we have it quite easy. If you get the curse, you only need to cast remove curse and you're good. Now in here it says that a lycanthrope can either resist the curse or embrace it. If you resist, you retain your alignment and personality while in humanoid form. You basically do this by avoiding your transformations for as long as you can. That is until the full moon rises, at which point you transform into your beast form or into a horrible hybrid form that combines animal and humanoid traits. See, it's interesting that the first mention of the hybrid form actually comes specifically when talking about the full moon rising. Before, they only mentioned that you could transform into a more powerful version of a normal beast. That's interesting. But now, going forward, it says that if you're not aware that you're a lycanthrope yet, then you might not remember the events of the transformation, seeing those memories as hazy dreams. Now, down here, we get another jab at the concept of a hybrid form, saying that over time, you can master your transformations to the point where you could transform into your beast form or hybrid form at will. But then, lastly, it does mention that most lycanthropes that embrace their bestial natures do end up becoming evil. Now, on to the...
Do y'all think this would be like a good or bad thing? With those that's in the chat, barely anybody in here right now, bro. But I guess it could be a bad thing. Like, I don't think all people would be receptive to like living like this anyway, like the mental turmoil on one's mind and everything, bro. And then the danger and risk factor of you being around your family and shit. You know, it's not about what you do during the daytime. Like, you just normal and everything. But under the moon's influence, it seems like it triggers some type of effect. I mean, that's why people say energy is real, bro. Like, I feel like even the moon produces its own type of energy, like lunar energy. And I don't know. The curse has some biological effect, though.
The next page, we get a bunch of options here for the different kinds of lycanthropes. We've got the werebear, wereboar, were-rat, were-tiger, and of course the werewolf. Now, this video is not meant to cover them. We are strictly focused on the concept of lycanthropes in general. However, we have made a video on were-rats specifically, so if you want to watch it, it's right here for you. Now, the abilities that transforming gives you are entirely dependent on the type of animal that you're shifting into, of course, but they all have resistance to physical damage unless that damage comes from silver or magical weapons. Now, we don't know the reason as to why silver is particularly good against lycanthropes, but it's there. Now, that is the entry for lycanthropes, and overall, I would say it's pretty good. It's hard to complain, honestly. We got the basics for what the curse is and how it affects creatures. But now, let's talk about what the 5th edition Monster Manual did not tell you about lycanthropes. The first thing that I want to go over is the actual curse itself and how it works. See, the Monster Manual didn't mention this, which is interesting to say the least, but lycanthropy actually starts as a disease. When a lycanthrope attacks you with any of its natural weapons, or if you get any of its bodily fluids in you, then you contract the disease. The disease can only be cured within the first 3 days of infection. And the cure spell has to be fairly powerful for it to remove it. We're not just talking about a simple lesser restoration here, fellas. We're talking something more akin to a greater restoration. The lore mentions that the healer needs to be very, very powerful, like a 12th level healer, for them to be able to accomplish this. Now, there is a non-magical way to fight the disease, and that is, of course, the fabled herb belladonna. So belladonna, which is...
Nigga, I'm assuming whoever this healer might be, it's a 12th level healer. Meaning you are some of the best, bro, out here. You probably gonna be charging people, bro. If we applying real world logic to this shit, bro, imagine the medical, like the medical field, bro. Like, and they get bit by a werewolf and everything, and you can't. That's just depending on if you got insurance or not. I don't know, bro. But like, how you gonna pay that? I imagine it would be expensive. I mean, it would be life altering. You gonna still live, but you would be a danger to most people until you get that under control. You feel me? Because it seems like every time in fiction, lycanthropy, it has something to do with like your temperament and anger and shit like that. And I guess anger can act as a trigger for lycanthropy. So yeah. And then living a regular human life, we run into things that aggravate us all the time. We run into situations that may agitate us. Mild annoyances might turn into straight up frustration. You know, shit like that. Like that existence would be hard to deal with, bro. You have a literal beast inside of you. Like literally and physically.
Also known as wolfbane or the deadly nightshade, is a very poisonous herb that when consumed weakens you physically, leaving you in a state of death-like sleep. It turns out that if you consume a fresh batch of belladonna during this 3-day period after contracting lycanthropy, there is a 25% chance that you will get yourself cured of it. It's a low chance, granted, but it doesn't require magic, just the herb. It will leave you unconscious for 2 or 3 days, since it is of course a poison that you're ingesting. But with a chance of healing you. Now, failure to cure the disease for those 3 days means that you're now afflicted with the curse of lycanthropy, but this curse cannot simply be cured with a remove curse spell, as the monster manual alluded to. You can, but it's not that easy. Now, you as a person will not even notice that you have the curse. You will simply live out your life as you have always done so until the next full moon. See, it is a common misconception that as far as lycanthropes are concerned, only the one full moon is what matters, but that is not true. It is in fact 3 different nights. The night before the full moon, the night of the full moon, and then the night after the full moon. And in fact, the lycanthrope will transform without a choice on all of those 3 nights. So it is once a month, but 3 nights in a row. Now, just how the monster manual told you, if you do not know that you're afflicted, then you simply...
Bruh, look at this artwork, bruh. And just from assuming, like, your base stats or whatever, not even talking about the game, just in general, I think being a werewolf would make you even more muscular as a human. Like you would probably be able to do more physically inclined things to an even more exaggerated, you know what I'm saying? An even more exaggerated point. Like you'd be athletic as hell, like, in theory. Like, do you see this werewolf nigga right here? He's ripped, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? They teed up, you feel me? Like they finna go in. But you know what I'm saying though, like the physicality would be different. There's bonuses to this, bro. I just wouldn't want to like end up slaughtering innocent people and unaliving folks unconsciously. I feel like that'd be the worst thing for you.
Out during those 3 nights, remembering what you did only through hazy dreams. Now, these nights are very important if you seek to cure the curse, because it is in fact only during these 3 nights in which a removed curse will work on you. That is right, you can only cure a lycanthrope during a full moon while they are a mindless beast. The lycanthrope must be subdued first, whether by himself before the transformation or by the healer and its group during the full moon. The healer will apply its remove curse onto the lycanthrope, and then, and this is important, the lycanthrope must succeed on a saving throw to fight off the curse. If the saving throw fails, then the remove curse also fails. Now, this is how it's done in the Forgotten Realms, which is the world that I typically cover. However, I did want to make a special exception this time and also talk a bit about Ravenloft, because it is a classic. If you're dealing with vampires and werewolves, then Ravenloft is sort of like the go-to for this. So in here, in order to cure a person of lycanthropy, you have to defeat what you call the primogenitor, the source of the curse. This is a necessary step that cannot be avoided and, of course, requires a big hunt. The primogenitor will almost always be a true lycanthrope, meaning
the artwork is immaculate, but that makes sense. And we see that in fiction too, in movies and entertainment. You gotta kill the progenitor vampire in order to kill off the whole species, or kill off the person that bit you in order to cure yourself. But they kind of be making it too easy, you feel me, sometimes. What's good, Lou Jenkins in the building? What's happening with you, bro? How y'all doing, man? Y'all come on in, man. Come kick it with your boy. We're looking at some mythology, some more D&D lore by MrRHEXX.
A person that was born a lycanthrope. True lycanthropes spend their existence infecting people with the curse, and those that they infect will of course go on to infect others, and those that they infect will go and infect more, creating a chain effect. If you get infected, you have to go through the process of following the chain of infections until you find the very first lycanthrope on the chain and defeat him. If you do not do this, then it doesn't matter what you do. All attempts to cure the disease, all attempts to cure the curse will fail. And the thing is, you have to absolutely be certain that you have killed the primogenitor, because you can only attempt the cure at lycanthropy once. And if that cure attempt fails,
I ain't gonna lie. If I had this affliction, it's depending on how you look at it, bro. Like in fiction, it can be a gift, an affliction, a curse. a debilitation. It depends, bro. You know what I'm saying? You say you didn't get a notification, bro. I don't know what's going on, bro, with that. YouTube trying to, bro. I even posted on my community wall, bro, just to make sure. You know what I'm saying? They on some whole shit, Lou, bro. I don't know what they on, bro. But I appreciate you for coming in, man, showing support. But yeah, like, I wouldn't give this up. I probably wouldn't give this up. I ain't lying. Probably gonna have a special connection with animals. I ain't like you. If you got a dog or something, I don't know how a dog would react. Like I like the small details like that and stuff and shit like this. Okay, you're a werewolf. You're half man, half wolf, and that's a part of you and everything that you have to acknowledge and everything. It's a part of you that you would have to carry around with you 24/7 every day of your life. And I feel like in nature you would be able to express it to an even higher extent. Like, I don't know, hunting and shit like that would be easier. Your sense of smell, sights, and hearing, and all of that. You'd be like Wolverine, bro, but like, you know what I'm saying, with the full beast form and shit. That would actually be dope.
You will be a lycanthrope for the rest of your life. Now, provided that you have killed the primogenitor, then you are supposed to redeem yourself spiritually for all the murder and chaos that you have done. You might take a religion or pay a penance, but you must do some kind of penitence for what you have committed. See, effectively, you need to purify your soul, because a dark soul will always fall into the temptation of bloodlust and fail at the cure. When you have done that, and then the actual curing process can begin. You need to get yourself tied up, and you need the help of a healer. You activate your transformation on purpose, but you must fight the urge to slaughter. The cleric will cast a first-level spell called Ceremony on you, specifically the Atonement version. Provided that you did enough penance before this, then it will succeed. So what it does is the spell forcefully changes your alignment to your original alignment before you start transforming, allowing you full mental access to your body and forcing the bestial transformation to abruptly end. However, forceful detransformation is excruciatingly painful, and you have to endure the pain without moving an inch. That's part of it. The curse is only lifted.
What the hell? How the hell? Bro, what? In order that you're going to have to endure the pain and not move an inch, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Pick a struggle, bro. Like, goddamn, dude. You just might as well master it. You might as well just keep it, bro, and learn to live with it.
If you endure the pain without moving, then the cleric has to do a lesser restoration on you to cure the disease afflicting your body, and then, finally, a remove curse to dismantle the magical esoteric effects that are still hanging about you. Provided that you did everything properly, then finally you will be freed from lycanthropy. But if you messed up even once, then the curse will be on you forever, and you may never attempt this again. Okay, so now that we have talked about the curse, let's talk about lycanthropes as a people.
You said D&D gets deep into details. That's why in the 70s and 80s, the government kept watch on those who played the game. For real, bro. It like that, bro, because you got to question, like, where is this information coming from, bro? Where are the facts coming from? Who came up with this? We have a whole, like, bro, there is whole graphs of man and beast being put together and stuff, bro. Like, we've seen so many different iterations of this. So, you know what I'm saying? Something got to be up with this. I don't think this concept exists for no reason. And they just trying to hide it.
So you'll be surprised to know that even though your cursed lycanthrope flesh regenerates very quickly against wounds, it doesn't actually increase your life expectancy. So your height, your weight, and normal physical features will remain relatively the same even after you have become afflicted with this curse, at least at the beginning. If you're infected with lycanthropy, then after a few decades of having the affliction, you will definitely start to see some changes. Like for example, if you're a werebear, then you will start growing lots of hair around your body. If you are a werewolf, then your fingers...
This nigga look just like Sabretooth from X-Men and shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, your features and shit will probably be looking... Let's say if you just be more bestial, more... Like, I'm going to say it's like nature and nurture. Let's put it that way. Nature and nurture will help you conquer, I guess, your fear of transforming. And then you would probably find inner peace within yourself, comfortability to not, like, let yourself go and lose control or something like that, you know?
will become longer, stuff like that. But generally speaking, you as a person will stay roughly the same. This doesn't make you live longer. Now, what's interesting too is that when a lycanthrope transforms,
That is ass, bro. I better be able to live longer, bro. I better get a longer lifespan. What the hell? What you mean you ain't able to live longer? Like, bro, like you just go from a base human to you being able to do all of this and you don't get. Come on now.
their animal form shares the same age as their real form. So, for example, an old guy lycanthrope changing into a wolf will show as a really, really old wolf. Now, we don't really know exactly where lycanthropy came from, but the lore does state a couple of really interesting ideas. Quote, lycanthropy appears to have been a plague on Faerun since its earlier days. Some say that Malar, the Beast Lord, created the first lycanthropes from barbaric human tribes thousands of years ago in order to infuse the race with the feral cunning and strength of the predatory animals that they admired. Others believe that lycanthropy was a gift of the goddess Elune to human children orphaned in the dangerous wilds, a blessing to help them survive. From these ancient humans,
That is a dope idea, bro. That is a dope theory right there. Bro. You a child out there in the wilderness, and a god just gives you the power to turn into a werewolf, so you can survive out there. I mean, that's kind of looking out. You feel me? That's kind of looking out. I ain't lying.
lycanthropic bloodlines have descended through the ages, few in number but scattered throughout all the wilderness of Faerun, end quote. So from these old lineages, you have what we call true lycanthropes and then infected lycanthropes. So true lycanthropes are lycanthropes because they were born as lycanthropes. They don't really have a curse or a disease. They are just the way they are. You can't really cure them out of lycanthropy in the same way as you cannot cure a dwarf from being a dwarf. It is just in their DNA. Now, true lycanthropes, however, can infect normal people and turn them into lycanthropes. These we call infected lycanthropes. And there are strong functional differences between the two. True lycanthropes can change whenever they want into their animal and hybrid forms, and they are not at all affected by the full moon. They retain their personalities throughout the transformations and generally consider the process of shifting a very pleasurable experience. Infected lycanthropes, however, struggle between their real form and their animal form, typically losing a big part of themselves in the transformation process. Most often than not, they cannot transform at will and become fully feral and monstrous during the full moons. To them, their transformations are painful and traumatizing. See, the shifting of their muscles and bones while they transform, they actually feel.
Oh, hell no, nigga. I'm good. Imagine your bones and everything shattering as you transform. No. No, sir. You gotta feel every bone in your body break and reform and reshape itself. Nah. Nope.
Feel that, and it hurts them. For these guys, anything can trigger an involuntary transformation, from the scent of blood to physical damage from combat to even the sound of a wolf howling in the distance. Psychologically speaking, true lycanthropes love being the way they are, whereas infected lycanthropes despise it and wish to find cures. Now, if both of your parents were lycanthropes, then you're guaranteed to be a true lycanthrope yourself. But if your parents were both infected lycanthropes, on the other hand, then you have only a 50% chance of being a true lycanthrope. So this way, you can indeed create true lycanthropes from infected lycanthropes. That would be by reproducing. But now, things do get a bit interesting once you have a true lycanthrope creating babies with either infected lycanthropes or normal unaffected people, because a true lycanthrope will always share its natural lycanthropic blood with its babies. But when mixed with humanoids that do not have that blood, it actually dilutes it. So what you get are offspring that are indeed true lycanthropes, but sort of less so. Maybe if you are a first-generation mixed blood, then
this picture is showing exactly what I was talking. This is like a beast man in the woods. Look like he done caught him a goddamn deer, you feel me? He done caught a deer. But yeah, like, this is very interesting. He's going into the eugenics form of it and everything. And as far as reproduction, everything would go like, you know what I'm saying? I want my bloodline to be kind of pure. I ain't lying. I don't, like, as far as being infected and shit, the infected specimen he was showing kind of looked crazy. Like, a lot of niggas got rabies and shit. You feel me? Oh no.
there's not really going to be that much of a difference for you. But if this process of mixing the bloods continues on for many generations, eventually you lose so much of that true natural lycanthropic blood that you end up what we call a shifter. A shifter is basically, if you guys have seen that new Barbarian Path of the Beast class from Tasha's, that's basically a shifter. You're a person that has this like tinge of animal in you that can come out randomly depending on the circumstance, but you typically cannot fully manifest it in its true form, only in little batches. In any case, this is what happens to most of the lycanthropic bloodlines from the old days in the Forgotten Realms. It is typically now very rare to see big communities of true lycanthropes anymore, and there's really never been like a city of lycanthropes or anything huge like that. Most of them just always have stuck to themselves. Now, the most common types of lycanthropes are werebats, werebears, wereboars, werecats, werecrocodiles, wererats, weresharks, weretigers, werewolves, and then the special kind of lycanthrope that is only seen on elves called the Lithari. The Lithari are good aligned werewolves that do not have a hybrid form. They're kind of like, if you played the original Dragon Age, if you remember that beautiful white wolf that was the leader of the werewolf pack, that's the idea of a Lithari, but only elves can be that. Now, some of the rare lycanthropes that you can find in the Forgotten Realms include were-bisons, were-dogs, were-dolphins, were-leopards, were-owls, and were-panthers. I also need to...
This shit is getting out of control. A were-owl, that is just creepy, nigga. That is just creepy. An owl can just spin their neck around a 360 degree. Like, that is just creepy as hell. What?
Make a very important distinction that the Monster Manual didn't really touch on, but it's very important. So a werewolf is a humanoid that can turn into a wolf, but a wolf were is the opposite. It is a wolf that can turn into a humanoid. These are not as common, but they are a thing. The most popular, of course, being the jackal wares from the Monster Manual. See, a werewolf is a therianthrope, like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, while a wolf were would be an antherion, which translates to man-animal rather than animal-man. Now, the interesting thing is that the weaknesses are actually different between the two. The Monster Manual actually fucked up on this. So therianthropes, like the werewolves, are weak to silver, but antherions, like the wolf wares, are weak to cold iron. So the jackal wares from the Monster Manual should have been weak to cold iron instead of silver, as the Monster Manual here shows. Though, to be fair, the reason they didn't put that in is probably because cold iron didn't really make it into 5th edition as a concept. So honestly, it makes sense. Now, lycanthropes in general being vulnerable to silver is one of those big mysteries because we have never been like told explicitly why that is. And the lore suggests that it is because silver is tied to the moon, and lycanthropes, at least the infected ones, are weak to the moon. It does make sense, and other sources of lore do confirm that silver does indeed have connections to the magic of the moon. But yeah, we have never been told like blanketly that that's why. I should, however, point out that different variations of lycanthropes do have different vulnerabilities. It is not that all lycanthropes are weak to silver. Some are weak to gold and copper, whereas others are weak to bronze, obsidian, and even wood.
Hi, we're Visible. Getting set to travel this summer and need a wireless plan that'll keep you connected on the go? Do it with one line and...
This is something that was expanded dramatically in Ravenloft. In here, werewolves, were-ravens, and were-badgers maintained their silver vulnerability, but others differed greatly. For example, werebats were vulnerable to silver, but only piercing silver weapons. Werebears were actually weak to cold iron. Wereboars were weak to wood weapons, like wooden spears. Werecrocodiles were weak to flint weapons. Werefoxes to bone weapons. Werejackals to copper, and weretigers to obsidian. Each lycanthrope also had a chemical weakness, like for example, weretigers were weak to ginseng, whereas werecrocodiles were weak to mandrakes. Now, anyways, the Monster Manual did at least mention that there was...
Weretigers weak to ginseng, bro? Like ginseng tea? That is crazy. Ain't ginseng supposed to be like a purifier? It's supposed to be one of them good tea too, bro. It got them healthy benefits, you know what I'm saying? Them vitamins and everything. I done drunk me some ginseng before, but having that as a weakness that's different, bro. I ain't lying, that's different.
Was indeed a difference between the true natural lycanthropes and infected lycanthropes, but they actually forgot to mention altogether the existence of the third variety, induced lycanthropes. See, these guys are a bit tricky because they come from an entirely different source. Magic. See, the world of Dungeons and Dragons is a very complicated world where many interesting things can happen.
Look at the wabbits. Look at the wabbits gathering together. Let me go back a little bit.
Because they come from an entirely different source. Magic. See, the world of Dungeons and Dragons...
Look at all them goddamn wabbits, boy. Look at all of them just gathering together in the sewers and shit. Picking up pennies and change and crumbs and shit.
is a very complicated world where many interesting things can happen when you involve magic. A god can create a lycanthrope from scratch if it really wanted to. A hag could curse you with her own proprietary blend of lycanthropy. Or you could equip a magic item that momentarily gives you the ability to change shapes into that of animals. These all we would call induced lycanthropes. So in the lore, we actually have a spell that can turn people.
Have I ever played D&D? When I was in middle school, I kind of got a little taste of it. You feel me? But I ain't really like the process. You know, like just playing the board game thing. I was more interested. Like when I play Skyrim, I can play it because it's like a game, and it got like 3D and all of that other shit. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? Now I've created a character like recently before, but like for like role playing reasons, just in case if I ever get into that. Yeah. Like Critical Role or something. But no, I've never played the board game. No. I was thinking about buying Baldur's Gate shit.
Into lycanthropes. It is a 6th level transmutation spell called Curse of Lycanthropy. If you curse a person with this spell, they contract the lycanthropic curse, which as always manifests on the full moons, forcing the character to transform into a lycanthrope during those 3 consecutive nights. You do get to reroll your saving throw each time you do transform.
Appreciate you, Michael, for reposting that cash out. Hey, if you feeling generous, man, you want to send your boy 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, you want to send your check for the week. Your unpaid child support, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? Your pension, you did your retirement money. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Kick it to your boy. I appreciate you. I salute you, man. You know what I'm saying? We break bread around here, you feel me? Oh God, we need food stamps, bro. Yeah, I need some food stamps. Try to get me a little food basket or whatever the hell you call it. I appreciate y'all, man.
And you cannot infect other people with the curse. But it is nonetheless really powerful and really cool. Actually, the coolest part is that the component for the spell is a vial of blood. And so how it works is the lycanthrope takes on the animal form of the animal from which you got the blood from as a component. So if you have the blood of a dolphin as the spell component, then the target will transform into a were-dolphin during the full moons. It's so cool. But the last thing I do want to mention for this video is that becoming a lycanthrope doesn't necessarily make you into the type of evil.
Look at the size. Yo. This is what I'm talking about when I'm be talking about werewolves, bro. This is what I would want to, like, I don't care about, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about what height you was before previously in human form and that making a difference. I don't care about none of that. This nigga is like 10 foot something. I don't know. He ain't fully standing up all the way. It don't look like. But you see the sheer size on this nigga, bro? This is what I'm talking about when I be talking about werewolves and shit, nigga. This is something you would really be scared of at nighttime. This nigga about the size of a tree, bro. He got some size on him, bro. Like this nigga towering over KB and TJ, nigga. Like for real, bro.
Creature that would prevent you or them from interacting with others in a good or meaningful capacity.
Damn.
I don't want to focus too much on alignment because I feel like that would be a whole video in and of itself, but I did want to at least sort of touch on what exactly does turning into a lycanthrope do to your brain. See, each animal carries with it its own baggage, but many of them are supposed to make you evil. What this actually means is that you succumb to a form of bloodlust when you transform. In practice, what this does to you is it makes you enjoy and crave killing things. Now, this doesn't have to be played as a murder hobo. In the same way as a barbarian who rages is not like literally insane. Yeah, he's angry and does want to hit things until those things die, but that doesn't make the barbarian want to necessarily strike children or pregnant ladies. A very similar thing actually applies to the werewolf. So a lycanthrope that doesn't know that they are a lycanthrope.
Transformations are taxing on the body, yeah, but you know, we got different iterations. Like some werewolves might have a fast healing factor. Like I wouldn't want to be just no average whoop-de-doo, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I need me some power, man. Let me get hyper regeneration, you know what I'm saying? Like as soon as I get injured, like on some Wolverine shit, you feel me? I just want to be broken. Everybody would want to experience that. Like you be immune to all sicknesses and stuff. Hell, you probably don't need a coat in the wintertime. Like you probably just it could be bare skinned out there. Got to be powerful, not like everybody else. Yeah, bro. You got to be powerful, bro. So I would be seeking to like hone them type of skills. Talk to the moon, whatever, bro. Because it's clear. It's clear the moon has something to do with how they able to do shit. You know, there's some secrets there.
Does blank out during those transformations, and that guy will definitely do some really heinous, evil shit while he's out. The lore, in fact, does state that the first targets that those lycanthropes choose are those that the host has a lot of feelings towards, whether those feelings are positive or negative. So you will basically hunt down those that you love or those that you hate, and there's really not that much that you can do about it. But when you do realize that you are a lycanthrope and you get a hold of yourself, your alignment is then supposed to change to that of the animal. So again, in the case of the werewolf, that would be evil, so you would turn evil. But that doesn't mean that you have to do what you were doing before, like killing your loved ones and whatnot. No, now you can control what you were doing with the understanding that you love to kill things. But those things that you are killing can be great things to kill, like monsters or bandits or villains. A werewolf that feels the bloodlust and enjoys the murdering of things can still live a relatively normal life as an adventurer, providing that you are pushing that bloodlust towards the right targets, which you most certainly can do. This brings me to the lycanthrope class that I have made. You don't have to be a murder hobo if you want to play a lycanthrope. All you have to do is fix that.
It depends on the type of where you are. You have to maintain your savagery. Or yeah, bro. Like I would, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't want to be around. If I'm a werewolf, nigga, put me on a battlefield or something. At least let me be able to satiate. Or like I would be like a bounty hunter or something. I want to have to. You want to be out there doing stuff. Like the beast would beckon. Everybody knows the term. The beast is beckoning. The beast would beckon if you just sitting in the crib all day. You know what I'm saying? Around the folks. Nah, you got to actively go out there and push your limits and see what you can really do.
Bloodlust directly towards your enemies in whatever campaign you're playing. Now, the lycanthrope class that I have created for you guys is based on infected lycanthropes, which means your transformation is not perfect. And you can roughly transform when you want, but it comes with a lot of caveats. First, detransforming is a prolonged process that requires a fair amount of meditation. It's not something that you can do immediately, and this is important because being forcefully detransformed is excruciatingly painful to you, and frankly deals a lot of damage. This typically happens when you lose all of your temporary hit points, which is meant to represent you becoming too overwhelmed to keep your transformation. See, I designed the class so that transforming gives you temporary hit points, and that you maintain your transformation for as long as those temporary hit points last. The reason was that the lycanthropic curse sort of makes your skin regenerate from damage. Like if you stab a lycanthrope with a normal weapon, the skin is just going to fix itself really fast. And this is why
Hey, that's exactly what I was just talking about, bro. Hey, a normal, you just stab me with a regular stainless steel knife or whatever, a regular bullet. You know what I'm saying? I don't think niggas just got silver just laying around, but you'd have hyper regeneration.
Lycanthropes are meant to be basically immune to physical damage unless that damage is magical or from a silver weapon. And as such, conceptually, temporary hit points are perfect because you will get hit multiple times, but your real HP will always stay normal. This sort of represents your cursed skin fixing all the wounds that you're taking. It's like you're not taking real damage. And then if your temporary hit points do reach 0, you're forcefully kicked out of your transformation, and then you will suffer for it. Now, as an infected lycanthrope, when you transform, you lose a part of yourself. You effectively become a monster. And the way that I represented this in the class is that when you transform, you get a -10 to your intelligence and a -10 to your charisma. Now, what this means for you is that you basically become a feral beast. Now, I have tables in here in the class that let you know what this means to you. So if you're left with 1 or 2 intelligence, for example, you basically attack whatever you can see. You become literally a monster. So intelligence in this regard is about your ability to understand the world as a lycanthrope.
You said that's why you never pick weird characters, too many weaknesses. Yeah, man, that's fucked up, bro. How y'all gonna buff these dragons, man? Buff these demonic creatures, buff all of these elves and shit, these magical elves, and then you gonna wank the guy. That's fucked up, bro. Hell, I think even vampires got better. They might have better stats. Well, I think werewolves are always gonna be physically stronger than vampires, just off the bat. But there's more, you know what I'm saying, upsides.
The higher your intelligence score, the more that you'll be able to reason like a normal person. So you need high intelligence in order to wield weapons or tools as a lycanthrope, or be able to attune to magic items. Charisma represents how animalistic you behave. So it's like whether you eat raw flesh instead of cooking, it is whether you can speak or not, or whether you feel emotions like empathy. So the lycanthrope class as a whole puts a lot of value not just into putting all of your stats on stuff like strength and constitution, but it also helps you not feel like you have to. And you don't have to worry about constitution as much as the other classes, because your class relies on temporary hit points to work, not on normal HP. You also get a lot of attribute increases as you level, just like the fighter and the rogue does, which does let you get more stats. So as a player, you actually want to spread out your stats a lot more than normal, so that you can get even more value from your character when you use your bestial transformation. Especially so when the full moon rises. When the full moon is up, you're forcefully transformed, but this transformation doesn't just reduce your intelligence and charisma by 10. No, it drops it by minus 15. You become a lot more powerful, to be fair, as a lycanthrope during the full moon, but you're also much more at risk of losing your humanity and becoming a monster that attacks innocents, everything on sight. Please, I beg you, check out my monster classes. I put a lot of effort into them, all written by me. The lycanthrope and all of the others have lore in them so that you know what you're doing when you play the class, and I have tables in there for you to better help you make your character. For the lycanthrope, for example, I have a big table here to help you figure.
Man, they need to go ahead and just create a whole goddamn game, bro. Just create a whole big ass game with all of this stuff in it. Sacrifice of intelligence is not good when you're in a group. You're at risk attacking your teammates. Yeah, that would be very bad, bro. And then I feel like you can apply military logic to this, bro, because most of the time in D&D you're in a group, bro. I don't know how many people it could be. Lou, do you know how many people it can be in one D&D group? Or like a band of heroes or whatever? I feel like I would be comfortable. I need at least like 10 goddamn group member, bro. You feel me? Let's make the numbers fair. We need numbers, bro. We need classes out here, man. I need a monk. You know what I'm saying? A monk got to be on the damn team. You feel me? Yeah, we definitely need a healer. Yeah. But I feel like every party needs at least two or three people that have like an occult standing. Not cult, occult, like vampirism. Like you might have a vampire, a half vampire, half human, or something like that. Or a straight up vampire on your shit, you feel me? But you just need that in your pocket. Yeah. Who would be expecting it? But let's go on to the next video, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. You feel me? Hitting that like button. I appreciate y'all, man. For real, bro. What they don't tell you about guilds. I got some other content I want to do later on. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be today or what, but it's gonna be some drama, you feel me? The views always end up spiking up when I end up talking about some bullshit. Ain't that crazy? Like, that's crazy. Like, it's just some recent shit that been going on with Moon Crash, and people can't just take their L. It's just funny to me, bro, how like this person was saying all of this shit, right, and saying people was rapists and saying all of this, but the whole damn time your nephew and shit out here, you know what I'm saying? Your brother, like you got criminals in your family, lady. That shit funny. That you was saying all that.
Targaryens are
Now you getting out. I love to see it, bro. I just love to see it. Thank you, Clara Booker. Man, thank the universe for Clara Booker, bro. Real shit.
not all of them.
Undead are one of the most common enemies that you will face in Dungeons & Dragons, and also one of the most fun to fight against. And there's something special about surviving a horde of zombies while barricading yourselves in a small keep or entering into a haunted house in an attempt to exorcise the
Okay,
ghost.
so now we're on the undead. So I guess he's gonna go over all undead creatures of D&D. So you know what I'm saying? Strap up, you feel me? Get your popcorn, man. Get your drink, man. Get your little lunch, you feel me? Whatever you doing, get your little drink, your little smoke.
that died there years ago. It is always a great surprise when the bad guy you killed a bunch of episodes ago comes back reanimated as an undead by the true evil villain. Undead are not just fun, but extremely versatile, and that's because there's just so many of them. There's so many that it can actually get frankly confusing. I mean, what's the difference between a wight and a ghoul, or a ghoul and a ghast? Is that a ghost or is that a specter? Perhaps it is a wraith. Nah, it's probably a banshee, though it kind of looks like a shadow. Let's face it, it gets pretty complicated, and every undead has its own lore and properties. There is much that we can talk about today, but before we get into it, let's talk about our sponsor today. This video is brought to you by Questonomicon. XP to level 3, your fellow beloved.
Yeah, bro. Facts, Luke. Elder Scrolls, Baldur's Gate. Yeah. That's the closer you get, bro. We need a whole D&D game, man. Expand on all of that. We should be able to go to the heavens, all the inner and outer planes, you know what I'm saying? All these different little dimensions. I feel like you should be able to even control like your birth and all of that. What are the circumstances of your birth? You know what I'm saying? You can either make your character like a demigod, you know what I'm saying, or straight up be born in a different pantheon, whatever pantheon you choose. Like the story should have that many different life pathways. But that shit would make $1 billion, bro. I don't know why they not doing it, bro. Baldur's Gate 3 was a success. Now y'all need to look into just creating, you know what I'm saying, a whole expansive D&D game where you can do damn near anything, not just make it turn-based. Like there should be multiple ways to travel and all of that, bro. Man, let me be, bro. If I ran a gaming company, bro, I would have so much shit, bro. Like, we would be $1 billion, like, it would be $1 billion everything. A dynasty, nigga. I would have so many ideas, like, literally documents and documents full of just ideas. Like, y'all come let me sit in the conference room, goddamn, and you know what I'm saying?
Dungeons & Dragons content creator is about to release his Kickstarter on his new book, The Questonomicon. The book is a collection of many adventures with very different themes, from fighting a dragon to save a city, to riding through the Wild West to catch a train, to hunting for treasure on the high seas. There are 5 strong thematic adventure styles, each with a selection of 2 different stories each, and each of those stories can be further extended to level 2 and 3. In total, there will be 10 different stories and 30 different adventures to play. On top of that, the book will contain a beautiful basis of operation set within each of the themed adventures. Be sure to check your calendars for this Tuesday, September 7th, for the release of the Kickstarter, and check out for yourself the new book, Questonomicon. But now, back to the video. The full topic of...
So they should make it like DC Online. They take it even further than that, like similar, but you see how, if you ever played Warframe before, that's a free online game on PS5 and Xbox. The way it runs so smoothly and the travel and all of that and everything, you can go, you can move at hella high speeds, no lag. Like you're literally playing as like an alien kind of ninja type nigga. So you're bouncing off walls, you jumping 15 stories in the damn air a lot of times, and on top of that, you got different warframes that allow you to do different things. Like, come on now. Like they could definitely do it, bro. Just like they can make a Superman game. They can make an entire D&D game, bro. Like, I would have so many hours into that shit. And then imagine being able to play online with your friends and shit. Oh, yeah. I would be trying to be overpowered, nigga. I would be spending all my single-player time trying to do that. Let me get hella strong, bro.
The Undead is way too big for me to cover in a single video, and I kind of wanted to do something a bit more relaxing for me in order to cover this whole general topic. See, the thing is, the nature of Undead and their rules have changed so much and so often during the editions that it is very difficult to cover all of it as a general topic. And so what I wanted to do was focus on one particular person and one particular setting. And you, of course, know Ed Greenwood. He was the creator of the Forgotten Realms, the campaign setting where all of these 5th edition adventures are located. And so what I want to know is what he has written about the undead in this world. We're going to skip all of these undead-related books and adventures that have been released throughout the editions and simply just focus on the undead book that he wrote and leadered. Because I think it'll be interesting to go through and see what undead originally were like, coming specifically from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Now, Now, the information that you will find on this video is from first edition, and again, written either directly by Ed Greenwood or co-written by him, but let's check it out. Undead can be good, and they can be evil. They can experience the full range of emotions and alignments. That being said, creating undead is always an evil act, regardless of the nature of the undead that you're creating. Further, undead are much more dangerous than you know. Fighting the undead is one of the hardest and frankly scariest jobs for any group of adventurers to take, because the attacks from the undead have severe, permanent repercussions. In 5th edition, the undead are just another group of monsters. They frankly don't do anything that different from the rest. The only one that's actually scary still is the ghost, because the ghost can age your character a few decades, and of course nobody wants that. If you fail a specific saving throw and you fail it hard, your character might lose 20 or even 40 years of life, and if you don't fix that with a high-level spell immediately, then it becomes permanent. See how hardcore that is? Well, that's how basically every single undead used to be. The Wight, the Spectre, the Wraith, these creatures have an ability called Life Drain that basically sucks a bit of life from you and reduces your maximum hit points for the day. Now, you do get those back after you take a long rest. Now, originally, you were not meant to get those back. The ability was instead called Energy Drain, and it used to literally lower your level. If you were a level 5 fighter and you got hit by Energy Drain, you would...
Oh, hell no. I would be pissed the fuck off playing some shit like this. On a damn tabletop, nigga, and your character get aged, level reduced. Man, fuck all that, bro. I don't even want to play this shit no more.
Become a level 4 fighter. Straight up. If your level was lowered, you would lose all of your features, spells, and abilities and HP that you had gotten from that level. I mean, you would effectively be, for all intents and purposes, how you used to be a level prior. It was hardcore. All it would take for the monsters to do this to you would be to simply hit you with their melee attack, and that was it. The idea was to make the undead actually scary. You as a player and you as a character really did not want to fight undead. And that was the whole reason why the clerics and paladins got so many abilities to help deal with the undead, because players really needed that help. They were super dangerous. Ed Greenwood specifically wrote that he understood that not many players found it fun to lose levels, as you might imagine, and so he devised alternatives that the Game Masters could use. But all those alternatives were, frankly, as brutal. The idea, again, being that you really did not want to get hit by them. If the Energy Drain ability hit you, you could choose as a DM between A, become completely paralyzed for 1 to 3 minutes, B, lose all the experience that you got for this level, C, complete loss of consciousness and permanent loss of maximum hit points alongside losing memorized spells, D, loss of stat points, then you did a saving throw and if you failed, that loss was permanent. E, the location where the undead hit you withered completely and became unusable, so you could lose an entire arm permanently. Only a heal spell or something of that magnitude could cure it. F, you would suffer a random curse. G, you would get an insanity feature, or if you were a caster, you would permanently simply forget how to cast a spell, and you could never cast it again.
Man, fuck that. Why they make that them undead so damn powerful, bro? What the fuck? Of course, you better get clerics and goddamn, you know what I'm saying? You better get on some boosts, because light is just supposed to straight up eradicate undead beings, from my knowledge, bro. Fuck that. Blessings, holy water, and all of that is supposed to work.
H, your alignment would change towards that of the attacking undead, and I, you would suffer from the Feeble Mind spell and then lose 1 point in a random stat. As you can see, all of these options were completely overpowered. I mean, getting touched by an undead was a character-defining moment that would probably change your character's experience for the entirety of the campaign, in the same way as the ghost still is nowadays. Now, clearly, over time, they went with option C to lose maximum hit points, but they made it so that you remain conscious and the hit point maximum returned to normal after a long rest. Merely a scratch from what it was supposed to be. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the lore of raising the undead. To raise a simple undead, you need what is called the animus. The animus is a fragment of soul energy, the type of energy that helps keep the soul inside of the living body when the creature is still alive. This energy stays in the body after the creature dies and lingers inside until the body eventually turns to dust. This energy stays behind presumably so that if the creature is brought back from the dead, the soul can be reattached to the body. It would also explain why resurrection is much more difficult after a certain period of time, since the animus would eventually disperse, making it almost impossible to raise that dead. Now, spells like Animate Dead bind the animus into the skeleton and then animate it. It knits the bones together magically, binding them with force drawn from the negative energy plane. For the spell to work, though, most of the bones need to be there, however, since without most of them, it is impossible for the energy to control the body. This is why when you sever a skeleton in half, most of the time it stops moving and then simply dies rather than having its mouth continue to bite you or its legs continue to move. Now, once the energy from the negative energy plane binds the bones and the animus is bound to the skeleton, the spellcaster can then tell the animus what to do, and the skeleton or zombie will do exactly as the order commands. Nothing more, nothing less. The skeleton will take the literal definition of what it is told and then will brainlessly attempt to accomplish those things. The magic of these spells can penetrate grave dirt really easy, since it is tainted with negative energy. Negative energy from the negative energy plane is particularly potent in severing the material plane, and at the moment of the spell's activation, that energy becomes very potent.
You said that's what mages are for? Yeah, but them clerics still got them goddamn. Like, I think clerics are like warriors. They like warrior monks, basically. But we technically have warrior monks already. It's just but they got hella subclasses and shit in here. But they use weapons and shit like that, enchantments, powerful spells and stuff. Just cast a sunlight spell or something in that motherfucker. Who I will get that game tonight. What game you talking about, Micah? Baldur's Gate. Or Skyrim. Mages are like religious magic users. Yeah. But the sorcerer is the more powerful of the two. I ain't lying, though. I look at mage like a base class, and then sorcerer is like the step up. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is good. I haven't bought it. I've seen other people play it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't bought it yet. But I've seen other people play it. And it's pretty dope from what I've seen. Like, you can down there do whatever. It has nice dialogue, storytelling, or whatever. It just makes me want a full official D&D game. I ain't lying.
For the first few seconds of the spell being cast, the undead is to be bombarded with these energies, allowing the newly created undead to destroy material from the prime easily for those few seconds. This is actually why the newly raised undead have the strength and ability to break open their sarcophagi, even whilst underground, which would be really difficult, and how they can dig and climb out of grave dirt easily. Spells that protect a corpse from becoming undead, like Gentle Repose, drive the animus from one's remains, and then further makes it impossible for the deceased to be raised as any sort of undead creature, presumably in such a way that would still allow for resurrection. What Holy Water does is it undoes the negative energy plane's energy that binds the undead, hurting the creature and then weakening it in the process. Cold magic does absolutely no damage to them, but fire does double. Because the important thing is to sever the animated bones in order to break the spell, the crushing damage of maces and flails deals double damage to skeletons and skeletal zombies. This is why it is tradition that clerics always use maces, because, well, they are the de facto undead slayer.
I could have sworn. I was thinking that too. Clerics definitely probably use maces. And here we go, showing the mace.
Now, slashing and piercing only do half damage, while piercing projectiles basically do 0 damage. Arrows are useless when fighting against bones, since they either glance off of the bones or simply fly through the creature, or maybe get stuck on the useless flesh of the skeletal zombie. Now, something that you probably didn't know is that you can indeed create living zombies, as paradoxical as that sounds. In the Forgotten Realms, there is a combination of spells that, when used together, can have you permanently control a living person as if they were undead as your thrall. These include spells like Feeble Mind to mentally weaken a person, Dominate Person to govern their mind, and a form of Animate Dead alongside other spells. Now, this combination of
D&D is hella expensive. $500 for the starter bill. Bro, what? $500 for a tabletop game? What? Oh yeah, they tweaking, bro. I was looking at the little PDFs and stuff, and I'm like, nah, you gotta really be into this in order to purchase a PDF, bro. Nah, I'm good, bro. Yeah, if I'm spending $500 on something, it better be everything. Look, all these lore videos we going over, it better be all of that put into one. I better be able to touch a controller, do some, you know what I'm saying? Fuck that. $500. Shit. That's a console right there.
Spells rely on something that is actually very hag-like, in that you must insert a piece of yourself into the individual for you to be able to control them. Typically, this will be a piece of nail deposited right on the back of the neck by the spine, since in necromantic magic, the spine of a person is considered to be the center of the spirit. And what comes out of all of this, we call living zombies. And this allows the necromancer to effectively control these individuals as if they were permanently affected by the dominate spell. Effectively, this would allow an evil necromancer to control people roughly similar to how a vampire does it, though generally you can only control up to 5 creatures in this way. Now, in order to reverse the process or save a person that has become a living zombie, all you would have to do is remove the nail from the back of the neck, and the person would then go back to normal. If the person dies, though, while still affected by this magic, they would turn into a normal undead zombie that would still be permanently under the control of the necromancer. Now, this art of creating living zombies is useful in that you can have a very powerful necromancer do all of the magic and prepare the spell, but then use the nail of a different creature so that that other creature will get to control the undead. And that is great for delegating power throughout your evil lair. Now, when it comes to fighting some of these undead, there are a few things that are good to keep in mind. Casting a lesser restoration upon a zombie or skeleton will actually cure that zombie from any diseases that he might be carrying so that he cannot contract you with those diseases. This is, for example, very useful in dealing with things like rot grubs, who are rendered inactive and passive for a time when under the spell. It is also extremely useful against mummies, for example, because it nullifies their rot attack, but we're not really talking about mummies today. Now, garlic is effective against vampires, actually, but only in that it is offensive to them. It doesn't actually hurt them or repel them or anything that hardcore, but merely makes them hesitate for a round or two. It is believed that there is a chemical reaction that is produced when the gas form of a vampire mixes with the garlic, and it basically slows down their transformation between mist form and physical form, which the vampire finds just simply uncomfortable. Now, in terms of holy symbols, a symbol is only useful against undead if it has been consecrated by a cleric who can cast at least level 2 spells. Without that consecration, the amulet holds no power, and it's basically just merely a drawing to the undead. Attempting to censor, charm, or turn undead using your channel divinity without your symbol will automatically fail unless you're a cleric that can cast level 5 spells, but it does lower the effectiveness of the channel divinity by basically a third. Now, a cleric who tries to use a different god's holy symbol to channel divinity can do so, but must use their channel divinity as if they are 6 levels lower. But it is important to know that this is considered a serious matter, and gods do not like this. Now, contact by the undead to a holy symbol is damaging to the undead, and it functions similarly to holy water in that way. In fact, under the right circumstances, you can even use a holy symbol as a physical weapon and strike the undead with it. The alignment of the god or of the person wearing the holy symbol does not matter, and the damage will always function as holy water in this regard. You could theoretically have a flail where instead of the ends being balls with spikes, just be holy symbols and destroy undead in that way. Is pretty cool. Now, priests can indeed lend their holy symbols to others, but it is frowned upon by traditional clergies. Oh, I should also mention that the only undead who do not take damage from holy symbols are the revenants and the poltergeists. The undead are creatures of the night, and of course they are accustomed to darkness. Outside of specific exceptions like, obviously shadows and vampires, undead are actually not harmed by the light of the day. And
mages and clerics are good. Yeah. You basically would need a cleric and a mage in your group, bro. In order to guarantee safety, yeah, bro. Because you need some defense on your side. Because undead in sheer numbers, that can be a fucking problem, bro. And then it could be an undead, the goddamn lich or something controlling all over.
they, however, find light to be generally irritating and annoying, and most times will even attack bearers of light for this very reason. Lastly, the old school practice of tossing salt over one's shoulder to ward off evil is not completely without merit, but it won't save you from the undead. Even though the undead are not directly harmed by salt, a contact with salt will actually cause an undead to recoil. And thanks to the negative energies that course through the undead's body, when met with salt, it causes cold, non-flammable blue flames to erupt in the undead's body, and then, of course, it causes the undead to flinch. This can be used to find hidden undead, though it will only work on those that have a tangible form. This will not work against ghosts. Now, this one is really, really cool. The one type of undead who are severely harmed by salt are vampires, believe you me. If you somehow manage to salt the dirt that forms the bed of the vampire, you can rob him of his ability to drain energy, regenerate, and his ability to reform his body in its coughing. This effect will last from 10 to 40 days. However, and this is the crucial part, if you can somehow get not just like a sprinkle of salt into the dirt, but instead thoroughly mix the vampire's grave dirt with at least 10 pounds of salt, the vampire permanently loses its vampiric powers and instead becomes a shadow forever. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's, of course, so much more to talk about the undead, obviously, and specifically about Ed Greenwood's version of the undead, but I needed this video to not be very long because there's other stuff that I have to do for the channel on the background that I'm currently working on. But I do hope that at least you guys got to enjoy the video. And make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm currently in the process of growing it so that I can contact other fellow YouTubers in the D&D community. I'm actually seeking to bring other members of the community into the channel to talk about the state of D&D as it is now, about the possible coming of a 6th edition on the horizon, and other things related to the lore of the game. So I'm doing my best to try and not be so isolated in the community as I've always been, and I'm opening myself a bit. So if you guys want to help me out with that, then I would greatly appreciate it. If you
All right, chat. That's what we got for today, man. I'm going to get up out of here. Probably tomorrow, later on tonight. You feel me? It depends. I'm trying to get my energy back. Probably gonna go over this moon crash situation. You know what I'm saying? Have some laughs. You feel me? Like I said, good content, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're just gonna make this a thing up here, bro. Might end up building an audience off doing D&D reactions too. Shit, you never know. But yeah, gonna have to goddamn go over this moon crash shit, bro. Cause she said a lot of shit that I found funny, bro. So yeah, it's just interesting, bro. How people just be calling everybody else a criminal. You know what I'm saying? That shit right in your backyard, though. You know? So yeah, I'll see y'all later, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, man. Catch the replay. Catch the stream from yesterday, you feel me? Stay posted. And I'm gone. You said, bro, what time? So I can laugh. I can miss so much. What time is it? 7:02. I say like 10 something, bro. Like 10:30, you feel me? Something like that. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that, bro. 10:30 or something. 11 o'clock, maybe. Yeah. About to get on these SVS motherfuckers. But I'll see y'all later, man. I'm gone.